Okay, who's ready for a homework session here? We finally got asked some questions to go over 20, and I'm going to do 22 here as well. They're both kind of two of the grosser ones that we have going on here. So, specifically, what makes these gross is that they involve decimals or fractions, which neither of us, no one really seems to like. Okay, for this first one here, let's try to solve for one of the variables. I think it doesn't really matter, so I'm going to pick this top one and solve for x. If we divide everything by 0.5, that's essentially the same thing as multiplying all these numbers by 2. So we have here that x equals 18 minus 6.4y. We can substitute that back into the other equation here. And now we get to go through the fun of multiplying everything by 0.2. Oh, great. So multiply by 2, move the decimal point over. That's getting us 3.6 here. Minus, that's going to be what, 128. Great. At this point, we can combine the two like terms, the y variables, and let's bring over that 3.6. We kind of wish that it just goes away, but that's not really how math works here, unfortunately. So here we're left with what? Negative 2.88y equals negative 7.2. At this point, we have to divide and just kind of go from there. It's looking like this one is not going to be a very nice number. So we have the two negatives divided by one another. That means it will be a positive. I'm looking at these things and identifying that, oh, 2 goes into each of those. So how about I divide by 2 as well? .6 and 1.44. You may be looking and saying, okay, we can probably divide by 2 again. At this point, it's not looking super nice what we can do. But it will actually turn out just fine, this question. This one, we could still divide by 2 once more. But now we're like way down in the decimal world, and nobody really likes that. So let's make these numbers again. We can multiply by 100 on both sides, top and bottom. 90 over 36. Maybe you're able to identify that 9 goes into both of these. 10 over 4, which is going to just bring us to 2.5. And you're thinking, do I really got to go through that whole chain? No, that's just kind of where my brain brought me right now. I'm sure you could have gone through and done 2.88 divided by 7.2. We're going to have to go through, I'll do a 2 here. Like it says 5. And I know that has to go in there 5 times. We can also see that's half of that. So not the easiest long division, but that would work out as well. 2.5, either way we get is our y, at which point we want to plug this back in to the x. Mm-mm-mm, 6.4 times 2.5. What do we get when we multiply that one by 2.5? I write this one down. No, I just solved for the y and stop before. So multiplying by 2, we're getting 12.8, and then we have another 3.2 we're subtracting here. That's bringing us to 2. So 2 and 2.5 should be our answers here. And let's check this by plugging this into one of the other equations here. So let's do that bottom one. That's plus, that's a minus. I can almost read any of this. Let's try that again. So 0.2 times 2 minus 1.6 times 2.5. Hopefully that's negative 3.6 here. 0.4, 2.5 here. That's getting us 4. So that does check out here. Potentially simpler ways to go through this is identifying right at the start. If we took these two off the jump, I don't really like having those x's be decimals. So I could multiply the first equation by 2 and get us x plus 6.4y equals 18. And the bottom one I could multiply by 5, because 5 times 0.2 will get us 1. And this is going to be, what, 18. So those might be a little easier to work through and get to our numbers a little quicker, but it just gets rid of more decimals, which I think most of us would enjoy. Okay, that's going through 20 here. The other one I want to look at is 22, which also gets a little gross. And these final numbers for 22 don't actually end up working out all that nicely. So here we have 1/2 x plus 3/4 y equals 10, and 3/4 x minus y equals 4. I'm going to take, yet again, this top one and solve for x. So I'm starting off by multiplying everything by 2. So we get an x here. This y is going to become 1.5 y equals 20. So x equals 20 minus 1.5 y. Okay, let's take this x and insert it into that second equation we had. Okay, so let's go through it. 3/4 of 20, that's what, 15. 3/4 of, let's see, that's going to get us what, 9/8 y minus y equals 4. Okay. Next step, combine like terms, go from here. So we subtract these and we're getting what? Let's bring that 15 over. And multiplying by the reciprocal here. We should be getting 88 over 17 as the y value here, which is not a pretty number. It doesn't simplify. 17's prime and doesn't go into 88. So that's as good as that's going to get, which is definitely not a nice number that we're looking for. But let's put it into our x equation up here. And now we need 1.5 times 88. So that's really 88 plus 44. So we're getting what, 132 here. Let's get 20 into a fraction over 17. This fun fraction work here. Okay, and the subtraction is bringing us 208 over 17. And you could go through and check these, and these are really gross, but they are going to work out, I believe, and that's going to get us our answers here. So not exactly nice numbers, but they are the numbers we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to post a video tomorrow about 7.2 and all of that stuff. If you have questions on those, please post those in the comments below, and I'll go over those in a future video. Hope you guys are all staying safe, getting a little work done on the side, enjoying this nice day that we have here on Thursday. I'll see everybody tomorrow.